Hello, people. I'm going to do a couple video. I'm sorry. I'm going to do one video today, and it's going to be on two things: Josie, and also on an FBI agent um, that people say was guilty of several things, but even though there's evidence that he was guilty of nothing except being a good FBI agent, and his name was Harold Paul Rico. And I wanted when I was looking to do something on like the most corrupt FBI agent ever, and his name popped up. And then I read the in story on him, and it was absolutely incredible what happened to this man. And there is a good chance that a known killer, Stephen Fleming, and that name sounds familiar. He worked for Whitey Bulger, and he was part of. He killed a guy named Roger Wheeler, that was head of a highlight association down in Florida. And if you watch the movie with Whitey Bulger, Black Mass, they show that killing of when he's coming off the golf course and he's going to his car, and Whitey Bulger's hitman, Steve Fleming, kills him. And that part I'm going to do. I'm going to do second, but first I'm going to deal with Josie. I've been trying to avoid talking about Josie too much, but when enough's enough and too far is too far, and I'm going to call out a couple people also on this because this woman is totally out of control when it comes to me. She's made several videos, and if you look at her library of videos, most of them are on me, which seems kind of abnormal. It's like, why is she stuck on me in general? I mean, what is it about me that aggravates her so much? Uh, when she started her channel out, I was one of the first people to ever subscribe to her channel, and we used to have nice conversations in the beginning, no problem. And then one day she started doing these really negative videos on me. And she doesn't understand the genre she's in. That's one of the problems. And then another problem is that she says a lot of things that don't make any sense. She tries to come off intelligent, but if you listen to what she says, she's not as intelligent as she thinks she is. And I'm going to dissect that a little bit. Okay, let's go into. I got certain areas of this video of her that I'm going to play, and then I'm going to stop. I'm going to shut it off and stop it, then talk about it. But Josie, you wanted my attention. You got my attention. No longer do you get free passes at making false accusations about me. And some of your accusations are true, but you're going over the line with them because it's a solid form of doxing that you're doing. You're actually doing it in front of people. And the so-called anti-doxers and those people, the anti-doxers, don't say nothing to you about it. They want to talk about rats and everything. But what you're doing is you're doing online doxing right in front of everybody. And I'm going to present that evidence of what you're doing. And, you talk about sending information of me to MRE and Tanya. Well, MRE and Tanya, if you see what she's doing, I mean, she's literally telling you that she's getting information about my life and sending it to you. That has nothing to do with on here. She's discovered that we have a lot of criminals on here, and I have a criminal record. And this is the funniest part. And it's called I'm sorry, let me get it right. Malignant narcissist. The malignant part, never heard of it. The narcissist part, we all heard about that. Because just about every one of us that have shows here, and most people that come in here and watch these shows are narcissists. That's why we do this. Because we enjoy true crime and gangster stuff. So let's see. Let me play this right here. And this is Josie.
about the other night as far as the psychopathic side of this person. Narcissistic side is what I'm going to talk a little bit about today, because that's more prevalent. That is the main thing that I see. And so
so she's talking about me right now.
Again, I'm just going to read off a little, and here goes the glass again because I can't see. Anyway, malignant narcissists have a very strong all or nothing way of thinking. Another saying for this is black and white. And we've seen that. We've totally seen that. Malignant narcissists are very authoritarian, based kind of thinkers. They don't like it when people think on their own. They can be very forceful and dominant in letting people know that it's the highway.
Okay, people, she just described probably half of America. Now, this is a woman that's literally doing a show talking about one person. And this is what she's been doing for over a month now, like about maybe 6, 7, 8 weeks, maybe in between there. But how normal is it to come on here and do a show about one person? There's lots of people here. And I'll just go on from there.
Check. Malignant narcissists believe they are truly unique. Now, mind you, we are each unique with respect to certain characteristics and experiences, but narcissists consider themselves to be anointed and higher up than other individuals in their opinions. Their insights are better, opinions are smarter, and their way of doing things is the best. Check.
That sounds like confidence. That sounds like a person that has confidence. You know, these psychiatrists like to throw fancy words out there, and people like this woman like those fancy words. But what she's not realizing is that she has a mental illness. To go on here like this and to go after people's background and stuff and to announce it to the world on your show is really pretty brutal. I mean, I have a lot of stuff on a lot of people's backgrounds here, but I keep it to myself. I mean, damaging stuff. Okay, I'm gonna jump here to the, let's see, to the 540 mark.
They have this tough person look. Sometimes they go after glamour. Sometimes they want to be known as the meanest guy. Nonetheless, appearance is something they put a lot of emphasis on.
Okay, she's saying I put a lot of emphasis on my appearance. I get insulted all the time because I like my t-shirts. My older blue or black t-shirts. And you'll see all the wise ass remarks in here about my beard's not cut correct, or, you know, I'm overweight, things like that. So she's saying that that's part of being a narcissist. So that part is wrong. I'm sorry. Anybody by looking at me could tell that I'm at the point in my life where how I look and dress and stuff is the least of my concerns at this point.
It sends a statement. This is who I am. I'm someone special, someone not to be messed with. How many times have we heard that?
You're damn straight you heard that, because this is the mafia genre. And if you do not stand up for yourself in the mafia genre, you'll be crushed. You know, we're literally talking 6 different people that attack this channel continuously. Lately, they've stopped. You know why they stopped? Because I put up a good fight. But anybody with a half a brain that comes into these shows can see what's going on. You know, and you know, we'll talk about like the doxing. I'm the one that gets doxed, and they try to turn it around and say that I'm behind these other channels, which I'm not. But these channels actually, they don't like these other little channels because these little channels can see through them. And these little channels see through this woman. And I'm going to play you a couple videos they put up today. And then it'll be said that, oh, I'm working for the channels. That's why I put them up. No, I'm putting up these channels because they're actually reporting something where they're right. And if somebody's right about something, if I feel they're right, I'm going to report it. This woman has some very bad issues. This is not normal what she's doing. So I'm going to continue with this. Okay, I'm going to go to the 10:45 mark now. And I just marked these spots out. Let's see. Okay, I need this.
What was the response? Let me do it real quick. You know, I questioned that also, and the response was, oh, I keep thinking I can see. People think 15 different phone numbers is a lot, but they don't understand that Lee has been in 6 states in 5 years. I looked at every one of the numbers and they are connected to him through email. The others are his home phone number that is connected to the addresses of homes he has lived in.
So she's admitting here that she's working with somebody, finding out where I used to live, my phone numbers, and my addresses. This is doxing. And then she says that she sent this information to MRE and Tanya. That's doxing. She basically sent the information to the people that fight against this stuff. And she's admitting that she's doing it. I mean, this is the part that's really, why is she getting away with this? Because she speaks with an accent. She's well, I don't even know about that, attractive. You know, so is this why she's been getting away with this? Because she's been doing it for quite a while now. Anybody that knows her, they make fun of it. You know, about how much she goes after me, where it's at the point where it looks kind of stalkerish. She's one of the first stalkers I've ever had. Probably the only stalker I've ever had. This is it. This woman right here, Josie.
So it's not hard to believe. There should actually be more than 15. So I don't know about all that, but what I do know is what was sent to me, I sent it to Tanya so that, see, you know, I'm not lying about it. I'm not up here just making shit up on the man. I really am not. You know, it's...
No, but she's admitting that she's looking up my background. She's admitting she's looking up my addresses, my phone numbers, and my criminal record. I can handle the criminal record because most of us on here have criminal records. Okay, no problem. You want to look at my criminal record, that's fine. But now you're admitting that you're looking up my phone numbers and the places that I lived, and I've lived all over the country. Yeah, I've lived all over the country. You know why? Because I don't like to stay settled in one place. I like to move around. I like to see the world. And yes, I used to get in trouble in some of these places because that's who I was. I'm not that person no more, but there was a time when I was that person.
It's just the hypocrisy of it. The other night, oh my God, you know, my phone, oh, I've had it 10 years, you know.
Now she's making fun of me being doxxed. My phone number, I've had it 10 years. I have had my phone number, my cell phone number for 10 years. And no, I'm not going to change it because of some doxers. I refuse to. And I'm still getting a lot of calls because my calls were put on a scumbag's channel. The worst channel I could put on is Stax's because he has the lowest level people watching his show. And those are the people calling me, the people from that show. And I'll deal with Stax. I'm not done dealing with Stax because he's going around making all these little remarks. He found a picture of when I used to be really fat. And I seen that he went in and said, hey, can I use this picture? I was a big dude. I weighed 400 pounds. You know, and then one day I woke up and I lost most of my weight. And then I've started gaining some back during COVID, but I'm not nearly that size no more. But this is what you have with this group of people, they're mentally sick.
That's not true. You know, according to my sources here, you've been in Texas just over a year, maybe even less than a year.
I've been in Texas now for 3 years, so she's lying. 3 years. That's how long I lived here. And she's saying I'm here a year. So she doesn't have her facts straight. But she doesn't come up with the facts that I owned a restaurant 2.5 years ago and sold it. She doesn't come up with those facts because they don't like those facts. And those are facts that you could find just by going to the tax board in Missouri. Go find that.
Yeah. So it's just not true, period. And, like I said before, if you wanted to avoid all this, just change your number. It's really a simple thing to change your number.
No, I'm not changing my number because I'm not changing it because of what some scumbags did. Okay? I refuse to. Look at this lady's face. Psychopath.
As you've done it many times before, apparently. So anyway, I couldn't put that up on the screen, and I wouldn't have put it up because it had other information on there that, I couldn't show. So
you couldn't show. No, you can't. You're not going to get away with what you've done so far. Okay, you got me glued to you now. Okay, this is time for me to say enough's enough, Josie. This is going to stop now, or whatever happens. I'm not going to let you do this. No, but you're at the point now where this is like, we're getting to the scene. We're getting into that scene where the woman walks in and throws the rabbit in the pot. I mean, that's how you're not even like doing research on me now. You're literally stalking right now. And that's the scary part, Josie.
I sent it to Tanya, and hopefully MRE will see it.
So she sent it to Tanya and MRE because what she's trying to do is to get them to turn on me. That's what she's trying to do. And I've already had them on me. I'm still here. But you guys are the doxers, not me. I have not doxed anybody, not one time. The doxing has been done by people like you, by people like Gray Line, and that other group of people. It's so obvious. It's so obvious.
By the way, see you back. Loved your show.
Okay. So we got that part out of the way. Let me see if there's any other parts here. 1705. Let me see. Go to 1705. I can't play her whole video because she's kind of boring. And this is another thing. She has been at like 200 to 300 subs, maybe a little bit over 300. Everybody's been pushing her channel, and she can't get to 1,000. So please go sub to her channel and help her out. She really needs help. It's obvious she needs to get to 1,000. And she's trying any way she can. And whoever's putting her up to this attack Leon every video is really hurting her, because I'm not all that.
It just is what it is. But anyway, which brings me to also, I've had a lot of people say, well, why are women talking about the mob? Why? It's a man's world, blah, blah.
Look how hateful she sounds. Why is women? We have women. Whoever says women shouldn't be talking about the mob? I've never said that. The only negative women's remarks I've heard in here have been made by Damien and by Thin Gray Line when they said that women should not be fighting in the MMA, in the UFC, which I totally disagree with. And I told them during that show. That's the only time I've heard women should not be in here. Okay. There's a woman that comes in here that has a famous name. She's in the chat rooms. Maybe I said that. But that's it. Let's see. Okay, and that's Tanya. I wanted you to see that. Now I wanted to see. Now we're going to talk about the N word that was used on Jimmy Clanger's show the other day, and it was one of those moments where they want to take it back. It happened. I don't think I don't think they meant anything by it. But the fact of the matter is, it did happen. But this is how much this woman is kissing their ass. I'm going to show you this right now. New Beginnings, FBS unemployment page. That's the group that FBS accused me of being involved with, which is false. But you know what? The fact of the matter is they put up stuff that nobody else is looking at. And I want you to see this. Let me pull this up. One minute, please. Sorry about that. Okay. This is how bad Josie is. Here's her making excuses for the N word. This is how much, and you know, I brought that up and how it floated by everything. And this is how much this woman hates me. She will not admit that them using the N. Just listen to this. This is like, and these people called her on it. And this is once again, New Beginnings FBS unemployment page. That's who's doing this, and that's the one giving. They do some videos I disagree with sometimes. I think that we're all open targets here, but we should leave family members out.
So let me address something first. I got a lot of messages, I mean a lot, about the N-word being used on Jimmy Calandra's show. And what happened is, you know, people were asking, well, what do you think about this? What are you going to say about it? And the fact is, I don't think too much about it. I had to be logical about it. Well, what happened was, I watched that show, and I guess it must have happened at the end, and I got up to do something, so I missed it. I didn't hear it. And when I got back, you know, the show was over, so you know, I didn't rewind or anything. So I didn't.
You're lying, Josie. That happened in the middle of the show, not toward the end. Okay, so you didn't get up and come back and the show was over. If anybody watches that show, it happened in the middle, or not even, the show wasn't even at the middle yet.
And then I got a message asking my thoughts on the N-word being used, and I said, well, I didn't see it. So I was directed to, you know, a page that is now up about that. And I didn't look at that either, because I just thought, whatever. People were saying, oh, it was said as a joke, but I didn't really, you know, pay much attention to it. And then it was a few days later, I was doing something and it popped up. So I thought, let me take a look at this. So I looked at it, and, you know, I'm not going to lie, I did feel a spark of irritation at first. And then I looked at it again, and then I had to think about it logically. Now, this guy has just got out of jail. He was there over a year. I'm pretty sure, without any doubt, he heard that word morning, noon, and night.
That's why he said it, because he just got out of jail. No, he said it because he grew up in a neighborhood that was very racist. That's just the way those Italian neighborhoods were back in the day. You know, people use that slang word. He didn't learn it in jail. The guy's like pushing 60. He learned it in jail. He was in jail. He didn't even do a year. It wasn't even it was a bullet. When you say bullet, that means a year sentence or less. But anyway, here's Jesse making excuses to stay on the good side of the good guys.
And not white people saying it to black people, it's black people saying it to each other. You know, at times it sounds almost like a term of endearment. And, you know, tomorrow I'm going to a cookout. It's still warm here, people are still cooking out. I'll probably hear it 100 times tomorrow. So maybe I'm a little bit desensitized to it. You know, and I just had to look at it logically. And, you know, they were saying, oh, well, Jimmy Carranga and Zachary and Sicilian were laughing at it. Yeah, they laughed. But the impression I came away with, they were laughing like in shock.
I'll see you later. I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay. Well, I wanted you to see that because this site actually is the one site that actually talked about this. You know, can you imagine if this happened on my show? These guys would be going nuts saying, oh, you know, we love Black Lives Matter. What Lee did was horrible. That's what would be happening. It's a double standard. This whole thing is a double standard. Doxing has lost all its power. Anybody bitching or complaining about it until they actually call the doxers out, like Josie, who admits that she has gone back and looked at my old addresses, my current phone numbers she's looking for, and she's also looking for every place where I lived. And then she admits that she took that list and sent it to Tanya, and she sent it to MRE. She says it right on the video. So she doxed me. She basically sent 2 other people my information. That's doxing. So you admitted it yourself, Josie. Now, if we're going to play this game, Josie, we could play the game. We could play the game. But, you know, I'll call you out on everything, Josie. And I know that people you're talking to behind my back, people I know, I hear these things and the things you're saying. And now you're trying to say that I said Chinese people eat dogs and stuff and all this like crappy stuff. And that I gave a review someplace and I said something about Chinese people, which you're lying. You are absolutely lying. And I'm calling you out on that too. And this is the most minor thing I could do to you right now, Josie. But either, you know, what the hell? I wanted to come on here today and talk about Harold Paul Rico. And I'm going to put Josie to the side now. I said what I had to say about this woman. But Josie, I'm not going to take it no more. So that's that. You do what you got to do from now on. But I don't care. I'm not going to be sensitive because you're a woman. I'll treat you just like a man. Okay. Now I want to talk about Harold Paul Rico. when I first read up on this guy, I was looking for the dirtiest FBI agent ever. And then if you go to Wikipedia, anybody can go on there and write shit, including the FBI or whoever. They can all go on there and write shit. So Paul Rico, I'm going to give you the short term. This is the Wikipedia, what they say Paul Rico did. Let me open that up. Give me 1 second. Okay, Paul Rico was an FBI agent. He never had no problems ever until he started dealing with Steve Fleming. And Steve Fleming was a hitman for Whitey Bulger. But anyway, I want you to hear this. This is what they said that he did. Rico was in charge of cooperating witnesses, right? That was one of his jobs. In October 2003, Rico was indicted for murder in Oklahoma and Florida for helping Whitey Bulger and Stephen Fleming plan the assassination of millionaire Roger Wheeler on May 27th, 1981. Rico died in 2004 in a Tulsa hospital where he was moved from the prison still under indictment for 1981 murders. That's all a lie. I don't know who wrote this, but whoever wrote this thing did not write the facts about Paul Rico. And this is how scary it is when our government turns on an individual. And I'm going to get to the other side, the real story about Paul Rico. Now, when Paul Rico retired from the FBI, he went to work with Roger Wheeler down at the highlight company that he worked for. And when he was there, it was that exclusive Southern Hills Country Club. And in 1981, after a round of golf, Wheeler showered. He came out. He was drinking with friends, and he walked to his car. And two men sat in a late model brown sedan waiting to kill him. As he sat down in the driver's seat, one of them went out and shot him with a .38 caliber revolver. And the shooters fled the scene. And the thing about this whole thing is that Roger Wheeler, if you watch the movie with Whitey Bulger about called Black Mass, they showed his murder, the Hollywood style. And they showed the murder of Roger Wheeler. And Steve Fleming was one of the shooters. And Steve Fleming became a cooperative witness, a rat, and started ratting out everybody. But Fleming was dropped by Paul Rico as an informant because Paul Rico thought he was out of control in 1969. In 1981, he came back as a witness once he started ratting on everybody. He was working with the FBI. So what he did is he decided that he was going to testify. And he came up, Fleming said that from Boston in 1981 after having no contact with Rico. Okay. So he's had no contact. So in the fall of 2003, the elected Tulsa District Attorney Tim Harrison, detective, flew to Boston to make a deal with Fleming. This is fairly unusual direct involvement of a top prosecutor, followed by a public campaign by Huff to pressure Harris to charge Rico in the Wheeler murder. Now, they're saying that he was part of murdering his boss. But the son who took over the business for Wheeler, once Wheeler was assassinated, stayed friends with Paul Rico and said that he knows Paul Rico had nothing to do with the murder of his father, and it's all BS. And he fought for the guy through court trials and everything and testified in his favor. And I'll go on from there. Fleming decided to flip and was anxious to make a deal, almost as anxious as Harrison Huff. At that time, Fleming was getting arrested with Whitey Bulger. Remember when they were all going down for all those charges and stuff? And Fleming flipped, and Fleming was one of Bulger's main men. By the time we interviewed him, the Tulsa DA had no recollection of Boston providing some important information on Fleming's questionable credibility. His credibility was very much in question. So basically, he hated this FBI agent, Paul Rico. So what he did is he said that Paul Rico ordered the murder. The probable cause depended heavily on Fleming's credibility. Huff's affidavit stated Rico had operated Fleming as an informant beginning in 1965, without mentioning that Rico closed Fleming in 1969. He stopped him using him as an informant because he did not like the guy. The FBI agent thought he was no good. Okay, now here comes the worst part. The first-degree murder warrant in hand, Detective Huff flew to Miami in 2003, more than 22 years after Wheeler murder. He led seven with seven Miami officers in a 4 a.m. raid, and he raided Paul Rico's apartment. Huff pounded loudly on the door, and rushed inside and arrested Rico. With Huff's demeanor seemed harsh and tough on the witness, Miami officers took note of Rico's feeble condition, suggesting to his wife Connie that he should be dressed warmly, eat something, and should be prepared his medications to take with him. At the time of his arrest, Paul Rico had serious cardiac problems. Rico was held in a Miami contract jail, one of the roughest in the area, for 3 months. Instead of being segregated from the other prisoners as a former law officers generally are, he was packed in general population. And this is a former FBI agent they're putting in population. There he was attacked by inmates and severely beaten. In January 2004, Rico was in stable enough condition to be flown to Tulsa. On January 16th, his attorney pleaded for medical treatment for his client, saying that he was seriously ill, suffering from congestive heart failure. He asked the court for emergency medical furlough so the 78-year-old retired agent could be treated and prepared for his day in court. Paul's wife, Connie, a nurse, and 2 of his daughters, one a doctor and the other a lawyer, also trained as a nurse, all testified that he had lost 50 pounds since his arrest in jail. And he was in grave condition and declining. He lost 50 pounds within 2 months. Isaac requested that the shackles that bound Rico to the bed be removed. He said that he had no reason for prosecution to oppose such a request unless it wished to inflict further pain and suffering. The idea that a frail, severely ill Rico was a flight risk or danger to anyone was ludicrous. Nevertheless, the prosecution objected, and the judge ruled against the defense. 6 hours later, Paul Rico died shackled to his bed. The medical staff responsible for Rico's treatment allowed him to become dehydrated, which, according to the autopsy report, caused his body to accumulate blood thinners. And resulted in fatal hemorrhage of his kidneys. It was sad, tragic, and brought by a lethal combination of negligence, incompetence, and mendacity, none attributed to Paul Rico. One medical expert reviewed the autopsy and commented, those responsible for this care should have all lost their licenses. Some should have been arrested. The famously religious Tulsa district attorney is said to have commented that the DA's office had done its part and God had done his. So this man basically was arrested and charged without ever being convicted or anything, without going to court. He lived 2 months. And his arrest was based on a proven liar and a proven killer, Steve Fleming. Now, this is a 78-year-old man that had congestive heart failure. And when they went to his house to arrest him, they could have easily arrested him and taken him to a hospital. That would have been the logical thing to do. But nope, they took him to the jail and put him in population. And they knew he was in population. And I find that a fascinating story because he was accused of 4 guys in a murder case. he was accused. Those charges got dropped on those 4 guys, but 3 of those guys were dead already. They died in prison. And then the 4th one got out and the family sued. But the chances are that all 4 of these men were guilty. And the only reason they got out was basically because of Steve Fleming's cooperation as a rat. When Steve Fleming wanted to take this FBI agent down, and they believed everything he said. And to this day, none of it's been proven. And, you know, here we are 20 years later, none of it's been proven. But the fact of the matter is, when they want you dead, you know, we can look at Epstein, you know, the way he died. When they want you dead, you're dead. And they wanted this man out of the way. And the main reason being is because at that time, Roger Connolly, you know, that he's the crooked FBI agent that worked with Whitey Bulger. He had a lot of stuff, and they were in the same office and everything. And he had a lot of stuff. He knew a lot of stuff on that. And the FBI basically didn't want to deal with the facts of the stuff that he knew. It was better that he was just out of the way. And that's what happened, folks. And I just wanted to share that story, you know, but I think that, you know, there's a book written about Harold Paul Rico. You know, if you go to Wikipedia and check him out, you're going to see a totally different story. If you go read the book that was done by people that were close to him, and also done by people that knew him in the FBI, and many FBI agents stood up for him and said this was BS. He wasn't guilty of anything. And that Fleming was lying. Now, Fleming turned out to be the biggest scumbag in the face of the earth. Fleming literally murdered. He was like Sammy Gavano. He murdered a bunch of people. And because he was a witness, he got away with it. And that's what happened. He's like Weeks. Weeks was the other hitman for Whitey Bulger. And he got away with everything because he testified. So, you know, when we're talking about rats, these guys are the perfect example of what rats can do with their testimony. It's like John A. Light went on the stand and he told all these lies. These guys were making up accusations. One guy was making up accusations against an FBI agent he just hated because this guy dropped him as an informant in 1969. But check that story out, people. It's very interesting. These are the stories you don't hear about. So this all went down at the same time that Roger Connolly was being charged with everything for working with Whitey Bulger. And they just didn't want you to hear about this guy. In my opinion, the good FBI agent. Because the good FBI agent could have brought down a lot of people. Okay, that's it for today. I just wanted to drop this video. As for the Josie thing, I wasn't planning on doing it. Matter of fact, I didn't even see that video that she did a few days ago until I looked and someone mentioned it to me. A lot of things going behind the scenes here I don't talk about. And I also have some legal documentation that I'm not presenting right now, but will be presented, of somebody ratting on somebody. And it's in the legal document who ratted. And I know I don't have to mention your name because you know who you are. But we're just going to play out and see what happens over this month. But what you did is real sleazebag. You know, and you can't go after rats and call people rats if you are ratting on people. I mean, you're ratting to the law on people. So I'm just going to put that out there. And legal documentation, court papers and stuff is what people look at. So, you know, you can't deny the court papers. So many slime ball things going on behind the scenes, people. I mean, you wouldn't believe the stuff going on. You know, people can say what they want about me and stuff, but I'm willing to talk about it. because I don't owe nothing to none of these people here. None of them. I'm not with nobody. I'm with me. All these other people, you can't have certain friends that believe against things you talk against and be taken serious. And that's the way it is, you know. So we'll see what goes on in the next couple weeks. And if I pissed anybody off today, I don't give a shit, because this whole thing is ugly. And the only way we survive is by sticking up for ourselves. And also, the pizza man came back, did a video today, a live feed. And I got one piece of advice for you, pizza man. They're looking to take you down, your show down, because you attacked the wrong people. When you do your show, pizza man, stop putting threats on them. Don't even use threats, because that's what they want you to do. And once you use the threats, they'll have your show taken down. And YouTube will take your show down if you start threatening people physically, or saying that you're going to send somebody there to hurt them. And I was listening to your video today. You said that a few times. Luckily, you took that video down, so maybe someone told you that was a bad move. But live feeds, you got to be very careful what you say. And that's why I stay away from live feeds lately. And that, and the trolls. And I like doing these videos like this because I feel more free and I don't have to worry about mistakes as much as live feeds. In a live feed, you got to worry about making a mistake. I'm probably going to do a live feed tomorrow. Today, you know, I want to watch my Yankees lose again, some college football, and UFC fights tonight. And you know, I've been losing that on the weekends. I've been so wrapped up in these in my channel, and I'm not going to do that because it's not good physically and mentally. It just wears you down, especially when you do live feeds. Live feeds are tough, and anybody that does live feeds can tell you that. But Pizza Man, my only advice to you is you have a lot of stories to tell. You seem very interesting, to be honest with you. You got over 1,000 real quick, but don't go after people threatening them. Just don't do it. And because in your show today, I seen that if they caught it, they've already reported it. I'll guarantee it. So, okay, people, that's it for the show. 48-minute video here today. Everybody take care. And I'll be doing a video and I will be doing a live show tomorrow. Take care, people.